Alright, so this is video number 2, guys. Today's going to be a user request. I love that. Thank you for leaving a comment and asking about what you want to see. So this person wants to know, how do you use references and how do you choose them? And I want to see them in practice. There seems to be a lot of videos out there saying that you need to use references. They help you, and they totally do. Before I get started though today, I have a little bit of a soapbox speech. If you're wanting to skip the soapbox speech, you're not going to hurt my feelings. Skip to this number here and you'll go straight to the video. If not, here we go. Mastering is, to me, it is not a signal chain. Mastering to me is a quality control checkpoint. And what I mean by that is, when I have mixes that are sent to me, I'm not thinking that they need to be fixed. I'm here to listen and double check their work, make sure it sounds good on the big speakers, make sure it sounds good on the small speakers, make sure it sounds good on here headphones. So when I'm mastering, I like to use references, and the references will allow me to know when to stop and when to keep going. This brings me to my next point. I don't master my mixes anymore. I don't master my own mixes anymore because I can accomplish all those goals in the mixes because I use references. I can make it as loud as the reference. I can make it tonally balanced like the reference. I can make it musically balanced like the reference. I still believe that mastering is an extremely important step. You need to have your music checked. You need to make sure that all your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, that starts and stops, there's no clicks, no pops, that your tonal balances are going to work in the real world and not just in your studio. So when someone sends a mix to me to be mastered, I'm not listening for, okay, how can Adam Taylor make this sound better? I'm just going to go, hey, let's see what they did. Let's listen to it. I've never heard it before. It may sound badass right from the get-go, or it may need just a little bit of tweaking. Most productions are going to need a little bit of tweaking, but not always, Some of my best sounding work is from masters that I did very little to, and they sounded phenomenal when they were done. So thank you for listening to my little soapbox speech about mastering being more of a quality checkpoint than just another phase of signal processing. That's what I think it is. That's what's given me success. That's what the clients seem to like. So here comes the video on how to choose references and how to use them.
First off, we're going to need to get a reference track. And how do you find a reference track? You want to try to find something that's similar to the genre of music and something that all sounds really good no matter where you play it. It should sound good on your loudspeakers, your headphones, your iPhone, all of the above, so to speak. How I like to do it is I don't really have the gift of being able to listen to a track and go, oh, they sound like so-and-so, but my wife is, so I use her a lot. If I can't think of anything off the top of my head, I just go and ask her. It just makes it so much easier just to go ahead and just ask. And she said that Justin Timberlake for this song had the similar vibe. So I went and listened to some JT, found a song that was somewhat similar to this one. It's not perfect, but what I'm hoping to accomplish by using that reference is an ability to shape the tone of the mix and the dynamics of a mix closer to it, because we know, and I know, that it sounds good everywhere. And that's kind of what I want for mastering, is that it doesn't matter where it's published, it's going to sound good there. So this is the reference that I picked. All right, and here is the mix that we're going to be working on today. Here with me. This is a dream. I'd rather be asleep. Don't wake me up, just crawl up in this bed next to me. If this is a dream, won't get out of. All right, so you can tell that there is some similar instrumentation, similar groove. The groove on the JT is obviously faster. There's a little bit more complexity to his arrangement. Mine's a little more simplistic, but they are pop. They do have somewhat of a similar structure, and I know that the JT reference sounds good everywhere I played it. So I want to see how my tonal balances and my dynamic balances compared to that. And I'm going to listen, and I'm also going to use some visual cues down here. And I'm just going to flip back and forth, and I can solo these bands so you can just hear the bottom end. All right, cool, right? And so I'll be flipping between solo and reference and original. Okay, here we go. Okay. A little cleaner and definitely more focused. There's a lot more sub low. Listen to the low mids. They sound pretty on par with each other, and you can tell this white line is right at center. So that's cool. I like that. Again, pretty on par. Cool. All right, let's listen to a top. Okay, so I noticed that their top end is, mine's a little more airy and sizzly, while theirs is a little more crisp, and I like that better. Okay, so and now that we kind of know what's going on, it seems that our biggest problems are going to be our low end and going to be our top end. Imagine that. All right, so let's go ahead and start to fix that. What am I going to use? I like to do this first. I'm going to bring up an imager. I'm going to solo the bottom. Hear how big and focused that is? It's nice. So I'm going to pull my width. You can see that when I flip to original, see this little white? It's hard to tell, and there's a little gray line underneath it. It's showing me the width, the stereo width of the band. I'm gonna try pulling mine in to see if it focuses those sounds a little better. So I'm gonna stretch this band out to, it's about 100. Okay. All right, and let's bring this band into solo, or I'm sorry, into more of a mono configuration. Ooh, it just got bigger, didn't it? All right. Listen to the reference. Okay. All right. So I hear an improvement. Let's listen to it without a solo. Here with me. This is a dream. I'd rather be asleep. The stories call up in this. Now, doesn't it feel a little bit more focused? All right, let's keep moving on. Let's grab an equalizer. I'm just going to grab a standard go-to equalizer, Pro Q2. Excuse me. And I think we were having some trouble still in the low end. I like to get the low end feeling right. So let's go ahead and grab a low shelf. Here with me. This is a dream. I'd rather be asleep. You go too much with it. Wake me up, just crawl up in this bed next to me. Reset. If this is a dream, won't get out of this bed. You're running through my mind, can't get you out of my head. Oh, you got me hanging out for you. Hanging out for you. Hanging out for you. Hanging out for you. Oh, you got me hanging. Hanging out for you. Stay right here if it means you're here with me. This is a dream. We use linear phase, sorry. Just crawl up in this bed next to me. If this is a dream, won't get out of this bed. You're running through my mind, can't get you out of my head. Oh, you got me. Okay, a little closer. Got a little bit more fullness. I'm gonna dial it back just a tad so we don't get crazy. And then I like to put a low pass filter on it just to keep it clean. Here with me, this is a dream. I'd rather be asleep. Don't wake me up, just crawl up
bed next to me. If this is a dream, won't get out of this bed. You're running through my mind, can't get you out of my head.
Back it up. All right, I like that. Let's not get too crazy, get too involved. Let's how's our top end looking? Okay, it's a little bright. Let's grab a high shelf. Ooh. I'm going for that smooth but kind of crispy sound. Listening to the reference. Ah, much better. Okay, take it out of solo.
Here with me, this is a dream. I'd rather be asleep. Don't wake me up, just out of this bed. You're running through my mind. Yeah. Oh, you got me.
Okay, so now they're matching more of a tonal balance to each other. You can see that I'm still getting like these little pink dashes that keep going away from the lines, which means that my original is more dynamic than the reference. When it comes to this, guys and girls, be careful not to try to squeeze it in as much as the reference, remembering that we don't have to try to make it louder and louder and louder because we have online normalization that happens on Spotify, YouTube, iTunes. Everybody gets put at the same volume level. So trying to squash to get more volume, you're just kind of working against yourself. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Every music has a sweet spot for dynamics. Try to look for it, but don't stress too much about it. All right, I'm gonna pull up another plugin here, and I really like this setting for here, tonalization gentle, and I'm basically going to blend in parallel compression in. Some people will know what that means, others won't. It's okay. Basically I'm taking a compressed signal and I am putting it back in parallel or coming up underneath it with these faders, and what it does is bring detail up, but it shouldn't dramatically change the balances of the song. It should just feel fuller and more up front, which is something that the reference has that mine is still a little bit lacking. All right, let's give it a shot.
And I know you know that I'm the man that you need. But lately I've been thinking that I might be dreaming. But I'll stay right here if it means you're here with me. This is a dream, I'd rather be asleep. Don't wake me up, just crawl up in this bed next to me. If this is a dream, won't get out of this. You're running through my mind, can't get you out of my head.
You notice that the pink lines are now more faded. They're not solid, which means that my music is actually now less dynamic. Now it sounds more up front. I'm going to work on the releases. Make some tweak settings. Okay, cool. That's a pretty good place to, I think, say we're good. Let's go ahead. This is where I would probably go ahead and give a break and come back to it later. So I hope you all learned something. I went through this pretty quick. I would probably be a lot more diligent and take more breaks and probably pull in some other references as well. But this video is already getting too long. And please, if you have any more questions and like to see some videos on something, please ask. This was a user request video. and I love that. Please like and subscribe. And if you need mixing and mastering services, please go to creakyfloorstudio.com. And you can also email me at creakyfloorstudio@gmail.com. And I will email you back and we can get that conversation started and just have a great time. That's what I love to do. And I just wanted to share it with you all. Thanks again. And I will have another video next week. Have a good one.